In the last 5 and 6 years, after Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed came to power, a lot of works have been done regarding the tourism sector. It has become one of the economic pillars of the nation, and various tourist attractions have been developed in Addis Ababa and across the country, apart from the legal frameworks made within these years. In different times, through the Prime Minister's initiatives, Ethiopians living abroad and Ethiopian-born came to their country to visit their homeland and invest in sectors they are interested in. In addition to those diaspora members, in aim to promote Ethiopia to the second generation living in different parts of the world, the Premier has made a call to visit their home in 4 rounds with different themes.
የምፈልገው በውጭ ሀገር የተወለዱ የሁለተኛ ትውልድ ኢትዮጵያውያን በሚመለከት ነው። ሁለተኛው ትውልድ ኢትዮጵያውያን ከሚቀጥለው ሳምንት ጀምሮ ከታህሳስ 20 እስከ መስከረም 20 በ3 ዙር ወደ ሀገራቸው እንዲመጡ ተጋብዘዋል። የመጀመሪያው ዙር ኮኔክት ቱር ካልቸር የሚል ነው። ባህላቸውን ማወቅ፣ ባህላቸውን መልሰው ማስታወስ እንዲችሉ የገናን በዓል፣ የጥምቀትን ከዚያም ተከትሎ የሚከበሩ የድል በዓላትን ከኛ ጋር እንዲያከብሩ ተጋብዘዋል። ሁለተኛው ዙር ከኤዩ ሰሚት ጀምሮ እስከ ክረምት መባቻ አካባቢ ያለው ኮኔክት ዩር ሂስትሪ የሚል ነው። ታሪካቸውን በእምነት በባህል በቋንቋ ያሉ ታሪካቸውን እንዲያቁ የሚያስችል ነው። ሶስተኛው ዙር በእነሱ ሰመር በእኛ ክረምቱን እስከ መስከረም 20 የሚሻገር ሆኖ ይሄ ደግሞ ሊቭ ዩር ሌጋሲ የሚል ነው። ባህላችሁንና ታሪካችሁን ካወቃችሁ ሪኮኔክት ካደረጋችሁ በኋላ ህፃናትን በማስተማር በማልበስ ችግኝ በመትከል በክረምት ስራ በመሳተፍ በትውልድ ሀገራችሁ ሌጋሲያችሁን ተው የሚል ነው። ይሄ ግብዣ ዝም ብሎ ባዶ ግብዣ አይደለም። ለሁለተኛው ትውልድ የዲያስፖራ ዜጎቻችን ወደ ሀገር ስንጋብዝ የኢትዮጵያ አየር መንገድ፣ ሆቴሎቻችን፣ ሰርቪስ የሚሰጡ ተቋሞቻችን በሙሉ በቂ የሚባል ዲስካውንት ያደርጉላቸዋል። ከትኬት ጀምሮ በአጠቃላይ ጉዟቸው ለምሳሌ ጨበራ የሚያርፉ ከሆነ ኖርማል ከሚከፈለው ሲግኒፊካንት የሆነ ገንዘብ በዲስካውንት እንዲያገኙ ይደረጋል። ዋናው ከነዚህ ዜጎች ገንዘብ ማግኘት ሳይሆን ባህላቸውን፣ ታሪካቸውን እንዲያቁ፣ ሀገራቸውን እንዲወዱና ወደፊት የብልጽግና ጅማሯችን ፈር እየያዘ ሲሄድ መጥተው ሀገራቸውን እንዲያገለግሉ በማሰብ ነው። ኢትዮጵያ የኛም የነሱም ናት። በሩቅ በሚሰሙት በሩቅ በሚወራው ስለ ኢትዮጵያ በቂ ግንዛቤ ማግኘት ስለማይችሉ የሚወራው እውነትም ይሁን ውሸት መተው ኤክስፒሪየንስ እንዲያደርጉ መተው እንዲያዩ በራሳቸው መንገድ እንዲያረጋግጡ የኢትዮጵያ መንግስትና ሕዝብ ይጋብዛቸዋል። ሁለተኛው ትውልድ አሁን ሀገሩን የማወቅ ባህሉን፣ ታሪኩን የማወቅ ተግባር ከፈጸመ በኋላ በሚቀጥሉት ዓመታት በዋና ዋና ስራዎቻችን እንደየአቅማቸውና ደረጃቸው የሚሳተፉበት ሁኔታ በግልጽ ፖሊሲ የሚሰናዳና የሚጋበዙ ይሆናል።
The first round of the invitation, more than 7,000 second-generation Ethiopian diaspora came to Ethiopia and visited various places. The second round has been started, which is focused on connecting to the history of Ethiopia. In this regard, a discussion forum held in Addis Ababa aimed at explaining the history of Ethiopia, the activities being held in building a digital economy and the investment opportunities of the country in various sectors, along with experience sharing.
Dear second-generation diaspora and Ethiopians who live abroad, I am humbled to welcome you all to this very historic occasion in this very historic place. As you know, our Prime Minister, Dr. Abiy Ahmed, has been initiating different initiatives that aimed at the diaspora, to connect back to their origins and to give back as much as possible. Upon coming to power in just few months, he has been traveling across US and across Europe just to give the speech that we need to tear down the wall and build bridges, and we have to come together to build Ethiopia. Following that, many Ethiopians of first and second generation has come home and taken part in different initiatives, and some has been serving as the ambassador to their country. So in this second installment, he has been making a call to the second generation diaspora so that they know their origins, they have a history to be proud of. This very place is a testament to that. And they have a culture, a vibrant culture that they can be very much proud of. And they have a lot to give back as well. So we are very much humbled to welcome the second generation Ethiopians in different installments. In the first installment, as you remember, our motto was connect to your cultural roots. And many has come back and taken part in different activities and in different events. And I believe that they have found what makes us proud as Ethiopians. And in this second installment, we are calling on all second generations in different parts of the world to come back and to connect to their historical roots. And it is befitting that this event is taking part in this historic place in Adwa Commemorative Museum, which is built by Her Excellency the Mayor and her team. And we are very much proud to showcase what we mean by we are sons and daughters of our parents and grandparents. So we just want you to dig deep into what makes us Ethiopian, what makes us proud as Ethiopians, the history we have, the culture we have, and many others as well. And we want you to deliberate on how we can encourage more people to come back and connect with what makes them proud as Ethiopians. So there are different presentations aimed today. So I invite you to give your ideas and also help us get prepared for the third installment, which would be starting from June to September. That's a very special time for Ethiopians, as it is a time we give back to our community. So there are different initiatives, there are different events that are planned for the third installment as well. So I again extend my invitation to all of you to come back, and to those who didn't come back, to come back and explore more and dig deeper into their history, their culture, and all things that makes us proud Africans and proud Ethiopians.
Ethiopia is the land of the unconquerable. So this is proven through time. In its long history, Ethiopia has never tried to conquer a neighbor. The only time the Ethiopian forces made an expedition as a state, as a country, was to Meroe. That was in the 4th century. And that was because of trade conflicts. But apart from that, Ethiopia is a peaceful country. But several conquerors has tried to conquer the country. So beginning from the Ottoman Turks, then the Egyptians, the Mahdists, and then finally the Italians. So the outcome is that a devastating defeat, and that's how Ethiopia became the only African country that maintained its sovereignty. So I say the only African independent country because I'm not undermining Liberia. But Liberia was protected by another superpower. That's why it's survived colonialism. History is not a succession of political events. Rather, every event is part of history. So Ethiopia is a land of pioneers. So when we say land of pioneers, people like Ababa Bikila, the first African to win a marathon. And then still he has a record for winning 2 successive marathons. and then athlete Derartu Tulu, who is the first African to win the 10,000 race. So there are other great athletes who are the country's icons. And then one thing that we usually forget when we write and talk about our recent history is that how Ethiopia is a peace-loving nation. Ethiopia is a peace-loving nation for two reasons. One is that it has been a victim of conquest, massacre, particularly the second Italian invasion. So the whole of the world has abandoned us, particularly the West, at our difficult times. So since then, Ethiopia's commitment was that it has to contribute for the peace of the rest of the world. So what you see in this picture, the first one, is the Kanyo regiment, which went to Korea and then participated in the peacekeeping mission. And then the second one, Ethiopia's participation in the prevention and then maintaining peace during the Rwandan genocide, and then the other one to Liberia, so Darfur and other places. So when we say history, history is not a succession of political events and other things, rather everything that we achieved. So if we have discovered the land of origins this much, how do we reconnect? That is the most important thing. Because you have families and then relatives here, that is one aspect. But the best way to reconnect is the first, to engage in philanthropic activities, which are important because there are a lot of things to do here. A lot of people to help, a lot of institutions to support. And then the second, establishing societies. Societies of Ethiopian nature, societies of friends of societies of Adwa, for example. So various kinds of societies and friends of societies can be established, be it institution-wise, be it in terms of protection of nature, promotion of tourism, and other things. And then the last one, establishing alumni. So the second generation diaspora can establish an alumni of its own interest in many issues. So in such a way, it's possible to reconnect with this great land of origins.
CEO and founder of Quebec, Ethiopia, Kedus Asfaw shared his experience in investing in Ethiopia for the last couple of years as a second generation diaspora.
First off, it's home. When you're at home, you have a language that you can relate to. There's a culture that you can relate to. There's people you know, right? So it was a head start. I was able to just talk to people. And those people connect me to others the moment you ask questions. And before I knew it, within 3 months, I was sitting at the Ethiopian Investment Commission signing my investment license. And I was about to start a company here. It was fast. It was scary for me. But the part that really impressed me and genuinely surprised me was, when I was growing up, even when I was in the US, there's this thing you always hear, and I want to call it out, which is, the government is bad. They're out there to get you. They're there to squeeze you and depress you and kick you back out, right? I'm a human being. I was apprehensive. I did not know, based off of everything I heard, how it was going to go. And I remember the first place that I went to, just through connections, was the Addis Ababa Housing Management and Administration Bureau. They're the single largest affordable housing builders in the country, right? They have a plan of building 2 million housing units. It's incredible. And I went and met the head. Here I was in her office. And I remember her saying to me, "Tell me about yourself. Tell me what you're doing and how does this help your country and how does it help our city?" That's how our conversation started. It was so meaningful, it was so human, that the first thing she said to me is, "Well, I'm really worried for you. Because the moment, if you say this is really going to clean the city, if you really think and say that this is going to make affordable homes, we're going to want a lot of it. And are you going to deliver? So I left there actually not scared that she was going to stop me, but that I may never be able to fulfill her wishes, right? And she stopped me and said, by the way, I'll give you land right here. This can be your first project when you're ready. And it ended up being that. We built a daycare for the Addis Ababa administration that currently has beautiful children in it. And because of that, we were able to get started so fast. They became our first investor. They became our first client. They became our first marketing department. And before you know it, I was walking into other offices, such as the cleansing management office that manages Goshe, and they asked the same question. They said, why are you doing this? How are you going to help your city? I'm really worried for you, because if this is really true, I'm going to want you to clean everything, right? So the fact that I came back to a country which wasn't pushing me back, but pulling me forward, and wanting to pull me forward much more than I thought, was a very different dilemma that I was facing. And this may not be the story for everyone. I want to be very clear. This was my story. But I think the thing that really helped me was I never saw any agency or any company as that. I saw them as people trying to do their best and doing their job. And the moment that you really relate as human beings, you do build that relationship of having to succeed together. And where we are today is very exciting. I started as one-person company here in Ethiopia. My office was hotel lobbies, because I couldn't afford to have my own office. And today we're a company of 71 people. We have a factory in the Adama Industrial Park. We are recycling every day 5,000 kilos of plastic waste. And we're building affordable homes, schools, toilets, things that people actually find dignified, and we're doing it at almost half the cost. There is a very exciting part when, Professor, you mentioned Harar. As I mentioned, my dad didn't grow up too far away in Asaba Tafari. He always romanticized Harar. But about 2 months ago, I was actually called by the city of Harar and said, come tomorrow. I got on a plane, I drove there, I went straight into the city manager's office. He drove me to the landfill and he said, this is yours. I expect you to clean it up. Within 8 weeks, we were able to employ 600 women. And we were able to go from making 1,000 kilos of recycled plastic in the country to 4,000 in 3 weeks. This is the power that I feel we have as a country, is the moment that we have a common cause, we do make miracles happen. And knowing that I'm a very small startup that's making a miracle of my own makes me very proud.
The prospects in various sectors, especially in the digital economy, were explained by the Prime Minister's digital advisor. She stressed apart from connecting to their history, the second-generation diaspora should see the opportunities and experiences in different sectors, including the startup.
How can you connect to your historical roots? How can you connect back to your country through technology? And how can we leverage technology to not only have technology as a sector, which is a priority sector for our economic agenda, but also how can we use technology to enable growth in the country? So we launched Digital Ethiopia 2025, and I hope you all know that Ethiopia was one of the first countries in Africa to have a comprehensive digital strategy, and I hope you've all read it, or I encourage you to read it, because it's quite a pragmatic strategy. But what the reason Prime Minister Abiy decided to focus on digital is because it enables us to leapfrog, right? First of all, digital transformation is a strong enabler to the prosperity agenda that we have to accelerate growth and wealth in the country. It has the ability to sustain growth. That's what's very important, because as you know, we're a very fast-growing country. The main thing is, how do you sustain that growth? It also creates new sectors, and it creates a lot of jobs. In the world today, the companies that creates most jobs are technology companies, as I'm sure you've known. The second thing about ICT or digital is that it can transform, right? It can transform the way we live, the way we work, the way we connect. The key thing is to make sure that we do not leave anyone behind, and inclusivity is key. So while we make sure that we are inclusive, digital has the ability to transform countries. The third agenda, and that was at the forefront when His Excellency Prime Minister came to power, was modernizing our administration, making sure that ease of doing business was at the center of the agenda, making sure that services were more accessible, were simplified, and government would be more responsive and efficient. The fourth main reason to launch a digital economy is, of course, to build a digital economy which is producing data, right? So you want data to be able to govern better, to be able to serve better, and to build a knowledge economy. So producing the data and then have the ability through building skills to actually analyze that data and making sure that that data can serve the agendas that the government have. So what were the key initiatives in this strategy? One was to build a comprehensive or a digital ID that had the single purpose to identify who you were. As you might know, financial inclusion, we started from very low bases. It's very fast growing right now because of the multiple reforms that were done in the banking sector, and mobile money has grown. We have 90 million users in mobile money. 40 million users, sorry, and 90 million transactions actually. So the thing was to make sure that a digital ID was present, to make sure that we had a robust cybersecurity strategy in place, to make sure that telecom grew, to make sure that electricity was more and more accessible to everyone. And like I said earlier, is to enable digital payments for people to transact in the country. But what we also wanted was to have solid foundation to improve our industries, right? So that the digital agenda could serve the economic sectors. So to ensure our industries modernize, have access to future technologies. There's an artificial intelligence institute that was launched that focuses on artificial intelligence. His Excellency Prime Minister Abiy has several times called for innovative ideas to resolve or to address challenges, daily challenges that we have, real challenges, and that's what technology, that's what digital can do. Digital can resolve real challenges. So one of the things that were done very recently, last month, was to look at what our startup ecosystem looks like and see how we can encourage. 70% of our population is youth. Our median age is 19.6. So most of our population is below 20. Imagine the power of innovation we have. And now we have our diaspora joining us. All these coming together can actually transform a country. So in the startup agenda, what has been done last month is 9 reforms that will actually enable the ecosystem for startup to have more space to innovate, have access to finance, have less burden from a bureaucracy perspective in terms of, for example, having an office to get a license or having access to foreign currency. So many of those challenges that were seen as challenges and that were challenges for the startup ecosystem have been waived so that innovation can flourish. So with these in place, we think that the agricultural sector, which, as you know, is one of the most important sectors for Ethiopia, can make use of technology to improve productivity, ensure food sovereignty. As you know, that's one of the main focus of Prime Minister Abiy, which is to ensure we actually achieve food sovereignty. For the first time, we have not imported, in many years, we have not imported wheat, for example. The same thing is being replicated in many other crops like rice and coffee and many other crops that are basic to food sovereignty. The other sector that has been given a lot of focus was the manufacturing sector and how technology can actually transform the manufacturing sector through communication, through telepresence, through 3D and virtual technologies. Tourism. Tourism is a priority sector for our homegrown economic reform agenda. And digital presence to attract more people is key. And we've seen it in COVID, where people wanted to have more and more virtual experience because they couldn't travel. So countries would promote their country virtually through 3Ds, through mixed reality. Today, travelers want to discover destinations before they actually arrive. And then when they arrive, you want them to be able to understand what they can do, how they can do it, what to access. So digital is a major enabler in the tourism sector. And of course, from tourism, like I said earlier, the IT, sorry, I have to move away from tourism. I have Her Excellency, the Minister in front of me, but IT is a sector on its own, right? So we've started focusing on business process outsourcing. So having call centers established in Ethiopia, McDonald's have outsourced some of their services to Ethiopia. There are football analysis, Premier League football analysis being done out of Ethiopia. So we have 200,000 students graduating. Language is not a problem. Connectivity now is no longer a problem. So outsourcing is a major opportunity for the country and for all of you.